You're watching My Jesus Experience, where ordinary people speak about an extraordinary God. My name is Tito, and with me today I have a PR expert, as I like to call her. She's also a yummy mommy. She's an amazing wife, a sister. She's many things in one, but she's also a very good friend of mine. Ojuola. Hey Jules.
Hi Tito.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me after the back and forth.
I know exactly,
Yeah.
and it's really an honor for me to have you here, because there's a lot about your life that I've been privy to know, and for you to be willing to open up and share some of that is just really an honor. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
For us, the plan is that people will see that there's a very real God in our lives, and not just in the lives of pastors or men of God, as people call them, because we're all children of God. So I'm hoping that as we talk, people will see God on many levels,
Yes.
and they will learn a lot from your relationship as well. So Jules, since I've known you, you've always been a spirit-filled Christian. Let's go back to that beginning first.
Okay.
How did you get to this point of being the spirit-filled Christian?
Well, I don't know how spirit-filled I am these days, but I think my journey with God started probably when I was about 5 or 6. I can't remember how old I was, but I used to wonder about the universe, and quite an intense thing for a child. Now thinking back, but then it was just, I was like, where does the world come from? Who is this God? And then who made God? So I guess they're more like childlike questions, the questions that a child would wonder. But I thought it to myself. And then fast forward a few years, an auntie led me to Christ. And then for days I floated. I was so excited. Like, it was like a weight lifted off of me. I was probably about 7 or 8 then.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, I was so happy. And I was like, oh, this means I have to tell the world about Christ. People must know about Christ. It means I can't do anything else in my life but tell people about Christ.
Oh, wow.
And then, like usually happens, that most of us realize, that high kind of dies down, right? The honeymoon. And there wasn't a follow-up, because my auntie didn't live in Lagos, so she moved back. She just came to visit, so she went back. So there wasn't really a deep follow-up. Yes, I was churched in the sense of my parents were strong Christians, but my dad was Catholic, and then my mom was Protestant and Pentecostal. And so in church, we usually would get to church late. I didn't really like Sunday school. So there was a disconnect between this new relationship I was supposed to have and my church life. And then finally, the connection and the relationship started when I was in boarding house.
Okay.
I was about to enter boarding house, and there was a rally. I think it was Apapa Parish. There's a rally they used to do every December. I'm sure people know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the name now. And I went, and they did an altar call, and I looked at my mom and I said, Mommy, I think I should go out. Like, she said, well, if you want to give your life to Christ. I said, I think I've given my life, but I just feel like I should go out. And she would encourage me, so I went out.
Oh, wow.
So that was really where everything started. I was 15 then.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to school. I was firebrand in the Lord, in boarding house. That was where I had a lot of my experiences. That was where I really met God. One particular situation comes to mind. Very simple, but till today is one of the ones I hold on to. I had lost my key. If you went to boarding house, you know what it is to lose your cupboard key.
And you put your life in that locker, yeah.
I lost my key, and I didn't want to jack it, but the key had a really nice keyhole that was like a scrunchy bear, and I just loved it. I took a lot of pride in it. And for days I couldn't find it, and I started praying, and I was like, God, I need to find this key. And after a while, I just thought, you know how boarding house is? Girls, it was an all-girls school. Girls just covet nice, cool things. It was like a branded item. Exactly. So I just thought, it has disappeared. And then I woke up one morning, and literally I heard, go to the dining hall. We're talking 3 or 4 days after I've lost this key. Go to the dining hall.
Because that means you had gone to the dining hall before that.
Oh, yeah. Of course, I eat 3 times a day. So I went to the same dining hall. The same. And I walked into the dining hall, and it was just lying right there on the bench.
Oh, wow.
The same dining hall I had passed. But I think what struck me was, I woke up in the morning because I felt heavy over the days. Kind of like, but Holy Spirit, I've been praying. I've been asking you for this thing. Like,
where is it?
I thought we were like,
guys.
why haven't you shown me? You know, that kind of thing. So I just woke up out of sleep, and I just said, go to the dining hall. And I just marched there, and I saw it there. And, I use that as an illustration because fast forward to now, I'm in a place where, that whole hearing from the Lord, what the Lord said, when people say, or even when I say the Lord said, or when people say the Lord said, I'm at that stage where there's a lot of corner eye, kind of like, because what happened was between then and now, there was a lot of things where I felt God was leading me to do that I realized it was just me. So I know a lot of people struggle with that. How do you know what the voice of God is? So I mean, we'll get to other stuff that kind of led me to this place, but I'm at a place now where I'm like, if I had a 30-year-old daughter and I was a mother, would I expect her to come to me for everything, for advice? The answer is no, right? I would expect maybe a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old to do that. But so that helps me put things in perspective. That is not everything, right? You can't say you've known the Lord for so long and it's everything you want to ask his permission for. Then you're not maturing in Christ.
Because at this point, you know already that he's giving you permission for a lot of things. He's giving you a lot of power. He's giving you like healing. He's giving you that. He's giving you...
You know, I don't have to ask him, should I give this person that is hungry money?
Food, or
Let me go and pray about this. I mean, so it took me a while though, but maybe because I was new in the Lord, everything. I was about 18 then when I was like, okay. I became fearful. Like, oh, can I wear this? Is it too tight? Is it this? And then I flipped to the other extreme, which was like, I'm not doing hearing from the Lord again. I'm going to do my thing. You know, so my relationship with the Lord has always been very, very, like I was saying you earlier, I've always thought of myself as a daddy's girl. So when certain things happen to me, it was like,
That is not, I mean, we're cool. It's almost like your dad is trying to, something happens here, you feel like your dad was watching and it lets it happen to you.
Exactly.
Why didn't you catch me before I fell? You were right there, you could have caught me. And he didn't. So let's just go straight to that. Because when I said, oh, you're very spiritual, I said, I'm not sure how I feel about that now. And you're also talking about how you feel like your daddy's girl and you feel like sometimes it's let you down. Let's talk about those times.
Okay, so the elephant in the room, I like to call it the elephant in the room in my life in the past 6 years, was pretty much, so I got married and we got pregnant. My pregnancy was fantastic. You know, I didn't even know I was pregnant. Found out I was pregnant, still wasn't sure I was pregnant because I didn't have any symptoms. So I kept going back to check. I'm like, are you sure I'm pregnant? When they'll check, obviously baby was too early to see a baby. So the doctor say, your test is showing you're pregnant, don't worry. But I keep going back because I'm like, I feel so normal. Yes. Like that's how smooth my pregnancy was. And then we had my delivery, you know my delivery story, equally as gave birth in under 45 minutes. Didn't know I labored through the night. It wasn't even, I can't even call it a labor.
Painful labor,
exactly.
The way they normally say.
So everything was so smooth. And then fast forward to 4 months after my son was born, and the doctor was like, he's not following. Like his eyes are not following. And I was like, what do you mean he's not following? And you know, that suddenly as a mother, your heart just starts palpitating. And he said, yeah. It was actually my gynecologist. I went to see him. Today, I love him. I went to see him, and he was like, he's not following. You know, like, he was so distracted from what he and I were talking about. He was like, how old is he? I told him, he said, he's not following. So the concern in his face gave me concern, and he sends me off to a pediatrician. And, you know, she asked me that question. She said, yeah, has he ever followed? I say, yeah, I kind of noticed he wasn't following at the mark. But when I told my doctor who was overseas, the doctor checked him and said, he's following, he's okay. So that was at the 6-week mark. Fast forward to the 3.5-month mark, my two doctors in Nigeria are telling me, no, he's not following. So that led into a whole series of tests. We traveled abroad, we checked some things, and they confirmed that he couldn't see. My son couldn't see. So it's a mixture, I don't even know how to explain it. It's such a mixture of emotions. It's like, wait, what? Wait, is this happening to me? Wait, hold on. Can we just pause? Like, am I in a dream? Am I in a nightmare? Till today, I feel like that. Where it's like, although I think my temperament has always kind of been like that, where I just kind of float sometimes. But I think in this period, it's just been like, wait, what's happening? Wait, no, this wasn't supposed to happen. This is not part of the plan. And then you feel like you're not getting answers, you know, either from the doctors, you know, they can't find the reason why. They can't find the reason why. They say every other thing is perfect. The physiology of the eye is perfect. So it's not like something is missing.
Wrong. They can't say yes.
So you can't, that tendency to want to control and say, okay, so then we'll do this, then we'll do this. You lose it.
There's no reason.
Right?
Yeah.
You totally lose it. And then there was denial, right? Like, oh, no, where you just, especially when, as a baby, when they're babies, because they're under a lot of things, you don't notice it. Not you don't notice it more, but he was hitting all his milestones. So sitting up when he was supposed to sit up, eat, like he was very. Usually they say, children who are blind, who can't see, it usually comes with other things, But his was different. He didn't. So he was hitting it, sitting up, talking, walking, doing all the things he was supposed to do. So it's easy to maybe kind of forget, if that's the word.
Yes.
But I think through that, one of the things I noticed it did to me was it brought a lot of fear. And I said, even saying this, I don't like to say it, but the thing that I used to think was, if this could happen, what else could happen?
That means that anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Because I'd always had this, let me call it blind faith with God. Like, I didn't, is it what I'll eat? Who I'll marry? I always tell people that even if the age I am now, my mid-30s, if I wasn't married, I won't be worried. Like, I just had that, it's
that
always
kind of
been that kind of
confidence,
relationship
yes.
with God. Like, everything will happen when it's supposed to happen. So when I was even supposed to marry my husband, so obviously my husband was born blind. And, there was that, should I worry about this? I didn't. It was like, why would you bring fear? Why would you marry with fear? Why would you want to think? That's a fearful, that's not a faith-filled.
Don't attract it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't attract it. So I think it was like, when you say you're taken by surprise, like, I didn't see that coming. I thought you had my back. That was pretty like, okay,
So you
God,
trusted him?
Yes. I've always been, one of my biggest verses is seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness and all of that things to be. So I've always been very focused. Like, let me focus on my own. The other things don't concern me, right? Food, clothes, car, house.
Take care of it.
He takes care of those things. And in marriage, pregnancy, he takes care of it. So I was now feeling like, so was I supposed to fast and pray for 3 nights? Was I supposed, you know what I mean? So I now started thinking, but I thought it's not by power, it's by might.
So
I now started second guessing myself.
Like, is it that you didn't pray enough? Is it that you didn't have enough faith?
Exactly.
Is it that you did something wrong?
Was I negligent? Then a feeling of shame started coming like, I did this boy wrong. I could have done something. So when I say, I don't know how spiritual I am now, I'm literally going through a journey and I'm still in the middle of the journey. And, I can tell I'm making progress because the fact that I can even share this.
Talk about it.
On a more, I'm very private naturally. Even within my friends, I'm very private. But even to share it, in front of the camera on this program, I know I'm making progress. So I think for me, those are the little snippets of faith. Because when I say it felt like I was losing my religion, literally, you know what I mean? I feel like sometimes I have to grasp and just, my latest prayer these days has been, God, reveal yourself to me in the little things every day. Because, as just, people always talk about, why do I take pictures of third mainland bridges and pass it every day? And like, that's manifestation of God to me. Do you understand? Sometimes you're going through such a mountain in your life that if you keep looking at that mountain, you're going to lose your faith. So why not look at the other things that,
are pretty around the mountain
and remind you of God every day. So I think that's kind of, when I say, I don't know where I know I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in his power and in his existence. But I'm in this space. I was talking to a life coach where, she was like, he's an uncertain God to me. And I said, yes, that's it. I feel like he's an uncertain. I don't know this God.
You didn't have this type of relationship before.
We're in a new phase and we're trying to understand ourselves. I'm trying to get to know each ourselves. I'm trying to retrust him. And then I'm also trying to understand, okay, so how deep was my faith? Right? Because the other things, because he's obviously, I like to say, okay, I don't say he talks to me, but I always make fun of myself because I still say things like, he tells me things. And so many things, like he told me, you're giving me attitude. About 2 years into the finding out my son was like, he was like, Ojuola, you're giving me major attitude. And I was like, me? I was like, yeah, you're giving me major
like I go to church.
And I was like, exactly. I think I had this conversation. I was like, me? I sing in choir. I go to church. Me? giving you attitude? How am I giving you attitude? And he was like, think about it. And it was true because we're not as close as we used to be. I had this, just stay there, right there. Let me stay here. I'll go to church. I'll do all things you need me to do.
I'll fulfill all righteousness.
But this thing that's happening, I don't understand it. So pending when we're ready to understand it, so it wasn't fulfilling all righteousness because I never, and even till now, I never feel obligated to go to church. I was just saying now that some days I go to online church, even till now, and I think that came from going to seminary. There's something about, I attend seminary, and there's something about going to seminary that lifted me out of that box, what I'll call cultural Christianity, and just made me realize that Christianity is expressed within culture. So never get it mixed up that this is the only way to do Christianity, because you fast forward or you fly across the oceans to Indonesia and they have their way of doing Christianity, which to you might look like sin. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they don't need how to pray. You know, some people get so caught up in things that are usually expressions of personality and temperament. Oh, if you don't shout and scream as you're clapping, you're not worshiping God. You know what I mean? Or if you're not quiet and reflective in the cupboard, you're not worshiping God. Remember, a lot of things are expression of personality, the expressions of temperament, the expressions of background. You know what I mean? If you came from a Muslim background, you came from a Christian background, you came from an Aladura background, I know that's how we clap. Do you understand? So I shouldn't judge someone if they don't clap like that in church. So that freed me, and I think that was one of the things that helped me throughout the journey was attending seminary, because it freed me. I had a very black or white Christianity, and it freed me from that. You know, so yeah, that's where we are.
So where's your faith now?
I mean, it's exactly where it is. I think it's where it needs to be. I think I'm at this place where I'm not fearful. You know what I mean? I'm not, like I said, there was really strong fear. And when I say fear, like fear outside of every little thing, like things I never used to be afraid of, walking into and staying in an empty house by myself. Those things were never there. But after the incident with my son, it became like, you know, I call it Stronghold of Fear, literally. I became afraid to fly, things that just were never issues. And all of those things are fading away now. So like I said, the little signs that, you know, the little assurances that God is still with me are there every day. You know, the fact that, funny enough, I don't think I never experienced depression. And a few times there was loneliness in the sense that, you know, where you just feel like nobody understands
and you were away for a long time, and then I was
I was also away from my immediate family for a long time. It was just me and him when we were living abroad. But I think I'm at a place where I'm at a place where I'm definitely not giving God attitude. I've repented of that.
But he loves you so much, it doesn't even matter. Like he was just waiting for you to come back as his daughter.
Exactly. I'm grateful. I'm excited to be back. I think I'm at this place where it's not even anymore about, oh God, I want my son to see. You know what I mean? It's very, very okay, God, what do you want me to do for you? What do you want? What are we doing? What are you doing in the world? I'm kind of back to that place, you know. And the other thing that I felt he told me was, so you're going to let this thing get between us. I think that was the one that really shook me. I didn't see it that way. I didn't see it as something was getting there. I just felt like, you know how when you have a fight with your husband, you know it's a fight that will pass, but in the meantime, just stay there.
I don't want to talk to you right now.
Yes. So I think that's what I thought it was. And he was like, this thing is actually, like, you've always said nothing will ever get in between us. And now you're letting this thing get between us. And it was like an eye-opener for me, like, wow, like, that is so true. Like, I've always been, there's nothing. I remember that when guys used to chase me, I'm like, you don't separate me. I will chase you.
Please from me.
You know, even people I would love, I'd grieve over there for a few days. But I say, but you know you can't separate you from God, so wipe your eyes. But this thing, it didn't look like a separation. It just looked like we're having, I was having a tiff. Thank you, we God. But now I feel like, okay, it might be the elephants in the room, but it's all right, we're good. So yeah.
Firstly, you know, when we were talking about this and you felt like you knew you were going to talk about your son, you were a bit anxious. You kept thinking, oh, I might cry, I might do this. But you haven't cried. I want to ask you another question. Do you believe in miracles?
Oh yes, very much so. Very much so.
So do you believe that you can pray about something like it happens?
That I'm not quite there.
Let's talk about that. Why aren't you there?
Because I look at so many people who've prayed about things and it hasn't happened. I look at I look at the world, I look at life and the reality of life, and a lot of people don't pray about things, but a lot of people pray about things. And I know a few people's stories. You know, you see a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. The most apparent one is illnesses. When people pray for their loved ones to be healed, their loved ones to come back from life. You hear a lot of prayers, and the Nigerians, we know how to pray, we know how to fast, we know how to. I think we got it locked down in that department. And you see that thing the person is praying about doesn't necessarily change. The latest I've heard is, well, sometimes the prayer changes you, right? That's one of the things that is going around. It doesn't always change the thing, but it changes you. And I'm like, okay, but the thing that I still wanted changed, there wasn't a miracle in that. Do you understand? So I think for me, that's kind of, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay. For my son, though, I'm totally like to the end. I'm believing. Okay, so do you understand?
You do believe that?
Oh, yes.
He's going to see?
Yes, I do. But if he doesn't, it doesn't make God any less God. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean there aren't miracles. You know, it just means for whatever reason, it's not the case in that situation. But I'm a mother about it, and like I said, I'm a daddy's girl about it. And I've come to that place where I've always believed that, you know, well, not believe, but for a while I was distracted by my pain, let's say, and I was just kind of like in this fog. But I pray about it every day, like, okay, you know, his eyes are healed, his eyes are seeing eyes, and you get caught up in life, you know, where sometimes you're not hoping as hard, like you just kind of
not believing.
Well, I'm believing, but not like I'm not actively. Yes, thank you. I'm not like,
has it happened yet? Has it happened yet?
Yeah, exactly. But the belief is always there. So I think for me, I'm just that kind of person. I'm like, well, people pray every day for miracles to happen. Their legs aren't growing back. Their loved ones aren't being healed of cancer. You know, so there's always that, right? It's somewhere. That's why I say I'm in this season where I'm trying to understand this God, right? Because I think I was a bit sheltered in my Christianity. I was a bit spoilt in my Christianity. I was a bit, oh, my daddy takes care of me, he does this, he does that. And I'm growing into adulthood now, and it's like, wait, okay. So you can be a devoted, hot-blooded Christian and still go through a divorce, right? I have a friend, you know, like, married a virgin, prayed, firebrand, this is my husband, and got a divorce. Wow. So when those things happen, you stop. At least for someone like me, it's like, wait, that's not the Christianity I was taught.
So why do you think those things happen?
I have no idea. I like I said, I don't want to. I think I've questioned God enough, and I'm at that place where I'm like, I just want my relationship back with Him. I don't want to overanalyze anything. I don't want to, you know, be like, okay, so she did this. Maybe in her father's house they did this. They buried something under her people are doing her. All the things we like to
be extra.
No, but that's what we do.
It's the reality.
They'll say, oh, it's in your father's house to divorce. Is that not what they'll say?
Cycles happen.
So they always come up with reasons why, you know. But what if none of those reasons are the reason? That's what I always. It's neater, right? It's neater if there's a reason. But what if there's no reason? What if it's just the fallen world, and that person she married is just cuckoo? End of story. Why can't that be the reason? But no, my Christian mind like, no.
Jules, you just went all Yoruba movie on me.
Oh.
I said, why do you think it happened? Because with somebody. No, I didn't even mean it that way.